devastation we are seeing is unparalleled. Judging from early estimates, millions dead.
Hey guys, this is your girl Aurora here, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Jumptown 2.0. And before I go too far into this, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be including a lot of random clips, but a lot of the clips should pertain to what I'm talking about. I've thrown some Easter eggs in there, kind of help you out. So, the first thing I want to do is address the elephant in the room, the A2. What do you do with the A2? How do you protect yourself from the A2? And if you should use it or not? The one answer to this is yes and no. It's very easy to use the A2 to clear the field, but it's going to be a lot more fun if you attempt to take Jumptown without using an A2. So, that being said, let's get into this. There are 3 ways that you can run Jumptown. There is the assault and capture. There is the assault and guard. And then there is the guard. Now, the first one is pretty obvious, but the second one is something that you may not have thought of before. Now you may be asking, why would I go through all of this effort to take the building and then share it? Well, I can tell you that when my org tried it this way, we ended up recruiting quite a bit of people. Also, doing it the guard way, where you take none of the profits, would also end up getting you additional members of your org. So, just keep that in mind. But we're going to focus on the more bloody and aggressive method of Jumptown. How do you take Jumptown? The first thing that I would highly recommend is the importance of scouting. I would take your fastest ship and your most experienced pilot and do a quick run over the area. If you can, I would even broadcast this to everyone over Discord. Get a lay of what's going on. You may get lucky and no one else is actually there. On the other hand, you might get critical information about defenses, such as what kind of light fighters are you going to engage? Is there a redeemer, or is there any land to air defense like a ballista? Once you've done this recon, I would then attempt to counter their vehicles. For instance, if you notice that they have multiple redeemers, you're going to counter them with quick light fighters and so on. Conquering Jumptown is not going to be a one solution for every event, and it's actually highly unlikely that you're going to get an A2 through the defenses of an experienced organization through their vehicles. If they have ballistas, target them with long distance ordnance. Their vehicles are slow and do not maneuver very well. Counter them with quick, and so on. If you're going to use the A2 and you're dead set on it, you're going to have to clear a path so that the A2 can reach its target. More than likely, you're going to have to sacrifice some of your vehicles and pilots doing this. So, I would highly recommend everyone in your group find themselves to the nearest major space station. I would also recommend claiming and moving over all of the vehicles that you think you're going to need. Sacrifice what you're going to need, just not sacrifice all of your vehicles. If you're looking for a good reason not to use an A2 and instead use a different assault, is that because an A2 will destroy anything left over from vehicles. If there was loot on the ground in the form of boxes, they could be destroyed as well. Once you have assaulted and taken control of Jumptown, you're going to want to maintain a 5 to 8 kilometer perimeter. You're only going to need 5 people on the ground. This should include a fast and small cargo ship, something like a Mercury Star Runner. 3 people moving cargo, 1 moving it from the machine, another moving it into the airlock, and then another moving it from the airlock to the ship. Your last person should be in a large ship with an upper turret like a Carrack. Not only will the turret help defend the building, but you can ping from that turret to targets very far out. In my Oryx previous attempts, I was capable of detecting vehicles even 30 kilometers away in the Carrack's upper turret. Once you have loaded up your cargo ship and it leaves, the person outside who is help loading up should help with stacking boxes inside the building. The reason why this is just in case an A2 comes in, you don't want them outside because they're likely to get destroyed. What should the other ground crew other than the Mercury Star Runner be using? I would highly recommend they arrive in a combat ship. This way, if needed, they can enter the fight or provide additional backup vehicles for your air crew. What I mean for this is, say that you're fighting a Redeemer, but the vehicle that is currently being used is like a heavy fighter, then that's exactly the type of ship that the Redeemer is going to rip apart. If you have backup light fighters that are going to be too fast for the Redeemer sitting on the ground, then while others engage the enemy, 1 or 2 pilots can quickly land and change ships. And if you do this effectively, you can pretty much counter anything that can be brought to bear because you're going to have those extra ships on the ground. And those people in the building can also join the fight so that you can add additional crew to your airspace. You've got your patrol, you've got your cargo ship, which is selling stuff at the nearest station. What else might you encounter? Well, it's very likely you're going to eventually run into people on the ground. People who will sneak in and attempt to kill off your ground crew. Because of this, you should leave all ground vehicles with their doors closed and locked. The ground crew should be armed not only with tractor beams but actual assault weapons. When the cargo ship is at Jumptown and being loaded, there are actually very few reasons why it needs to be sitting on the ground. Since you already have a person outside loading the ship with a tractor beam, pilot can stay in the pilot seat and maintain the vehicle's position. This has not only the effect of protecting the vehicle from being boarded, but if anyone slips through your air control, they can radio to the pilot to leave immediately. This is very important because even if all the vehicles get destroyed at Jumptown, it's highly likely that your cargo vehicle will escape since the pilot just has to go. Speaking of getting the hell out of Dodge, your entire team should have some sort of plan in case you all have to bug out, and you should designate a rally point in that case. This could be something like an OM marker, or it could be a base on the moon. I would highly recommend doing one of those two and not a random point in space. A facility that has repair functions is ideal for that very reason. Although an OM marker is going to be easier for your group to assemble at. I told you how to basically defend yourself from a ground attack, and now I'm gonna say you should definitely try it. Hot dropping a small team on top or behind. The reason is most of the people on the ground are going to be fixated on getting packages into the ship, and make no mistake that they're gonna know that you arrived more than likely, unless you were dropped off at a distance and slowly made yourself over to Jumptown. But you kind of want them to know you're there. The reason is they're more than likely going to tell the others in the air that their security has been breached. And this is going to provide a large distraction for their Air Force. Their Air Force will have to combat you while simultaneously worrying about their ground crew and what is going on. The only thing that you have to worry about is breaching the airlock. Fortunately, we have weapons like grenade launchers that make this way easier than you they have one person open the airlock while the other fires into the airlock. You may have to sacrifice one of your people in order to get the grenade into the next compartment, but this is more like chess, and sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice one of your pawns. If you decided that you're going to take one of the other methods to this event, announce it in global chat. Let everyone know that your org is protecting Jumptown, and you should be very strict. Let them know that if they bring weapons, they will be shot immediately, and that any aggressive movement will be dealt with harshly. Also, remember that the money in this event is nice, but it's not actually the point of this event. The point of this event is conflict and PvP. Bloodshed is going to be a natural. Just remember to have fun. This is also a great opportunity to make new friends and train your people so that in the future you'll be much more experienced at this sort of thing. And if you were unable to get to Jumptown, the org is just too large. Their pilots just too experienced. Don't feel bad about server hopping. Just because you failed on one server doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fail on another. I know this video was a little long-winded, but I had a lot of thoughts I needed to get out there into the verse. If you found anything in this video helpful, please go ahead and give it a like, subscribe, maybe share it so that you can help others succeed at Jumptown as well, because in the end we are a community and we should be helping each others, even if you're lawful and they're a pirate, because the stronger the community is, the better the game is going to be. So I will see you next time, and you have fun out there in the verse.